Good evening, traders. Welcome to FreeFX. Tonight is the 10th of November 2015. We are about to have a conference from Governor Wheeler of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. So in 3 minutes, we'll have some updates that it's very important to get a grip on, and then also the actual press conference from Governor Wheeler at 8:05 GMT. So we have this happening very shortly, so I'd like to be prepared. I have the two charts in front of me, the pound Kiwi on the left hand side, the 5 minute, on the right hand side, the Kiwi US dollar, also the 5 minute. You can see on the right hand side we have volume bars as well showing at the bottom, and that will give us a kind of idea of how much interest there will be in buying or selling the Kiwi when the governor speaks. So the governor speaks, and hopefully will give us an update on what kind of things he has in mind, or concerns, or going forward into December in terms of rate hikes. This was something that when I made the video yesterday on pound Kiwi, I wasn't aware of in terms of what actually might happen in terms of news, etc. So it's something that came up because I was looking at different calendars, and this particular event risk wasn't showing on the calendar I was looking at. So apologies if I didn't mention that before. So I was aware of it this morning and started wondering whether I should be here and making a video. So here I am. Now trying to at the moment find if there's a feed that will tell us what he's actually going to do. So I'm going to pause this video for a moment and see what happens. In fact, I won't, because it's very short. It will be 8 o'clock in a minute or less, and that's when we get the first report, and then he'll start speaking at 8:05 essentially. So so let's see what happens to the chart. So you can see that the pound Kiwi, it's moving up from 2.3150 and going towards 2.3160. Reduce that in case it whips up, and the Kiwi dollar is going down, obviously the opposite direction, as they have an inverse correlation. So the volume bar at the moment is up at exactly 1,063,000, which is obviously quite small. It's a 5 minute chart, so you know that's kind of where we are. It's 8 o'clock now. There's a lot of movement, as you can see, volatility here, and okay, so here's the new candle forming, and just to make it for reference when it comes to later in the video, I'm going to sort of put a circle around. That's where the 8 o'clock candle is. That's the 8 o'clock. We're talking about GMT, okay, so I'm in the UK, so it will be 8 minus 5, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the United States, for example. So don't bearing in mind. Okay, now this is not particularly exciting watching, I'm afraid. It doesn't make for entertaining. Oh, here, there's a lot of movement going on here. Watch that candle going down, and that one going right. Okay, so obviously there's a lot being not being said, but there's a lot being sussed by the markets, either anticipating his comments. Okay, here it goes. Okay, there's a lot of movement, certainly. I need to find out what is going to be said. Okay. So 2015. Well, it's not really giving us much. What we're trying to gauge from this is two things: is how the market reacts to a particular item like this, which is a press conference and speech, and also to see how far the market will basically front run something that hasn't happened yet. In this case, potentially a rate cut from the Bank of New Zealand next month. So if anything in the rhetoric, basically, anything in the rhetoric that suggests that would be something that the market might pick up on. See this big candle here, trying to break the 0.65. That's a really important level for the Kiwi dollar. I'm going to mark it so you can see where we are in relation to it. Because this is a level that this currency pair has been trying to break for a while, but it's a very strong level. So, okay, that's what it is. And this candle here is whipped up to past 32, 2.32 on a pound Kiwi. So obviously it's a very important event risk. It's 3 minutes from now. I'm going to pause this video for a second. Okay, welcome back to my live video here. It's less than 1 minute now to go until the governor speaks. There's a lot of action. See this big red candle here on the Kiwi dollar. Okay, from 65.20 down to 65 and retreating all the way back. Huge wick. Volume has picked up considerably. We were at 1,063,000 before, and it's now nearly 19 million. So it's picking up as we go into the governor's speech. Again, I'm struggling to find anything obvious that will give us kind of word-for-word account of what he's about to say. But if I'm lucky, I'll get something from the Daily FX real news feed. So it's 8:05, so we should be live on with the governor press conference and see what happens. Now the new candle before me here, obviously there'll have to be a time of waiting for his actual words and commentary. I will try to find again something that will give us that commentary. See if I can get this up for you and maybe show you as well. We don't know what is being said at the moment, so let's see if I can find it. Right, so the financial stability report. Okay. So the financial stability report is what is being talked about in the press conference, and we need to try to establish what the financial stability report has said and what the governor is going to say. So let's see if anything's been put on the Daily FX newsfeed. I don't see anything actually on that. Okay, here's something actually. So just a few seconds ago on the Daily FX, we've had this, which is the Reserve Bank of New Zealand says that risks to financial system have increased. Okay, so this is much, but it will give us an idea that the tone would probably be something of concern. What that actually means, financial risks have increased, well, it will mean a number of things. But here's another one from Daily FX. The RBNZ reports increased risks to dairy and housing prices. We know that the housing prices have been an issue for the Auckland area, and this is a housing bubble that's been developing for a while, and the finance minister has been out and have tried to limit this by having basically a limit to loans, and essentially to try and curb this with macroeconomic tools, rather than going down the road of cutting the value of the Kiwi dollar further. So they want to leave a buffer so that they can use that margin. But we're at 2.75%. They can use that margin from 2.75 to 0 essentially as a buffer zone in case they need to use that for other reasons. And one of the reasons is obviously the dairy crisis. One of the things that global dairy prices is doing is hitting the dairy farmers very hard in New Zealand, because 29%, as I mentioned in an article, 29% of the exports in New Zealand are basically dairy, and that means that anything to do with the price of dairy is very important for New Zealand. With the slowdown in China as well, which is one of the greatest partners in this export of dairy, especially milk powder, that's really also another problem. So these multiple factors have been affecting New Zealand as well. So we really need to think about trying to find out what is being said by the government. But in the meantime, I'm going to pause here because there isn't much forthcoming from the FreeFX newsfeed, and I haven't found anything else released. So it's not obviously a news event that many are watching, possibly, or at least not in the sort of standard channels. So I'm going to pause here. You can see that there's a blue candle forming in the Kiwi dollar and a red one on pound Kiwi, which is counterintuitive because you'd think that it was going to be the opposite. But maybe something has been said to offset fears in terms of the Kiwi economy, etc. So I'll just pause here for the last few minutes. Okay, I found the actual press conference live stream here on interest.co.nz. Somebody's asked about the level of the New Zealand dollar, and just going to pause there for a second. Hello traders again. Yes, so basically the press conference feed is a little bit jumpy, and I've been cut off a couple of times. There was a discussion on house prices, not in Auckland per se, but other parts of New Zealand. It seems that the currency question maybe has come and gone. At the moment, there was a discussion on house prices, so you can see that whatever has been said either before or after, which I've not really caught, there is obviously a reaction that is Kiwi positive. Whether that means that the risk of a rate cut has been offset by comments or not, I'm not sure, but certainly that seems to be how we are at the moment. The pound Kiwi has gone from whipsaw of 2.32 something to almost 2.31, so about 100 pips, just in a matter of minutes. And the Kiwi US dollar the other way. All I can say is that the daily FX tells us that the RBNZ report noted monetary policy transmission impacted by fewer market makers in FX swap market and lower bank risk appetite. So yeah, so this is not really telling us much, even reading between the lines. Well, this has been an interesting exercise in seeing how the connection between an event like this and but the press conference isn't over yet, so I'm going to pause there and see if I can catch the end of it. Okay, traders, we have been hearing from the governor talking, and the assistant governor talking about the housing prices again, loan to value restrictions, deposit insurance, and a report about banks in New Zealand, but nothing on currency since I joined the conversation. Okay, traders, I only have about half a minute left on the video, so I'm going to pause there again, but just to say that the bank governor has been talking about, banks providing for dairy farmers and so on. So nothing really on the interest rate, etc. So thank you very much for watching. It's been interesting, and good luck trading out there. And just keep an eye on those prices because they keep moving. So Good luck.